Okay, so in this training, I'm going to teach you about the two most important lines that you need to add to your content. Now, one of these lines is the biggest factor in filtering out your ideal customers from anybody else and getting them to read, watch, or listen to your content. It is polarizing, and for a good reason, because you cannot work with every homeowner in your area or any homeowner in your area. Not everyone's actually selling their house. Not everyone wants to sell their house for the same reasons. So identifying and calling out your ideal customers is a must, okay? The second line is crucial for the opposite reason. Once you've filtered out your ideal customers and brought them to watch your video, you next have to catch their attention and hold it throughout your content. It's not a stretch to say that these lines could actually make the content that you produce up to 15 times more effective, yeah? And perfecting these two lines in your content strategy is actually essential to your success here and in other advertising methods too, yeah? So what are these two lines? Well, we commonly refer to them as like the headline and the promise of value, okay? And we're going to take a good look at what these lines are and what makes them so effective, but best of all, how you can use these two lines to improve all of your content going forward. And I mean all of it, not just this, okay? So let's get started. So what is a headline? I think you guys know what a headline is anyway, but a headline is the first sentence of the opening sentence to any piece of content that you create, because it is the first sentence that your audience will see of your content. Yeah, a good headline will actually make or break your results. Think of newspapers, okay? Now, if you don't follow the rules to create a proper headline, you're going to run the risk of not only bringing in non-ideal customers to view your content, you're also going to run the risk of nobody even stopping to watch your content at all, which would be a shame, you know. And it wouldn't actually matter how much effort you actually put into recording your video if your headline can't catch the attention of your ideal customers very well, if at all, okay? It'd be kind of like having an amazing TV series running without telling anybody about it. No one would they wouldn't even know it's there to watch, would they? Do you know what I mean? So that's what the purpose of your headline is. You need to be able to capture the attention of your local house sellers so that they pay attention to your content, okay? So that your message gets across to as many of the right people as possible. So what's the promise of value? Well, once you've hooked their attention of your ideal customers, now you've got to hold it there. You've got to hold their attention as they watch your video, read your blog, let's say, or listen to your podcast, whatever you're doing. And to that end, you have to answer the immediate questions that people will ask of your content, which is, what's in it for me? Yeah, why should I sit here and watch this? So what will house sellers learn or gain by watching your video all the way through to the end? How will the information you share give them an advantage or help them to get ahead? Now, if you can answer this question right after you hook people with your headline, the more people who will stay and actually watch your video. Makes sense, doesn't it? You'll actually get more people watching to the end, and you'll get more people watching at least halfway through too. And this is really important for the entire strategy. The more people actually watch your video to the end, the bigger your invisible retargeting list grows, okay? And every person that actually watches 25% of one of your estate agency content videos has two features. Let me share these with you. So the first one is they're now well qualified because they're interested in your content about estate agency and how you sell houses, okay? If they weren't qualified, the headline and the promise of value wouldn't have even mattered to them. They would have passed it right by, okay? So this is the polarizing factor of your first two lines, yeah? Now, if people aren't qualified as ideal customers, either now or for the future, we don't want them watching your videos. There's no point, okay? Now, the second thing is, this is the exciting bit, you can now retarget this qualified lead because watching 25% of your video is an on-platform action. And Facebook can track everybody who watched 25% of your videos about property and then create a retargeting list for you to use, okay? Now, we call these invisible lists because although you can't see their contact details as you would with a list of leads, okay, you can retarget these leads until they actually sign up with you for the cheapest ads cost in the estate agency industry. How does that sound? Seriously, you could do this for between £1 to £2 a day to begin with. Yeah, you can retarget these invisible leads with an ad that builds authority, an ad that shows a testimonial or a review from one of your customers. And you can do it with one that actually makes a pitch, let's say, for house sellers to even work with you. Yeah, for just £1 a day. Okay, we've gone a bit off topic here, so I get a bit excited with this. Anyway, but without a good headline and a promise of value, strategies like the one I've just mentioned just wouldn't work, wouldn't be possible, okay? So I want to take you through the process of writing a promise of value first and then a headline second. And the reason why we write the headline second is that it's actually easy to actually mix up the two and combine the two sentences if you take the wrong approach. Okay, so on the other hand, writing your headline is a lot easier if you already know what value you're already promising in your video. You'll see. So first, by answering this question, by watching your content, what will the viewer gain exactly? What will it benefit them? Okay. Now, my framework for writing promises of value always starts with, give me 5 minutes or a similar kind of time frame. Okay. Now, I found that asking for a certain amount of time at the start sets the viewer in the right frame of mind, and then promising the value itself. So let me give you an example. Give me the next 5 minutes and I'll show you how to get 10 times or even 15 times the engagement on content for your estate agency with just 2 lines. Now, notice I used the subject of this video to create the promise of value. Yeah. And you see that it's a solution to a problem that a lot of estate agents are actually having right now. Yeah. And now writing the headline is actually easy. If the headline needs to call out your ideal customers and be relevant to the video, you can simply call out the problem that you promise that you're going to solve. And your ideal customers, of course, needs to be added in there. So let's do an example. Posting content for your estate agency that nobody's reacting to. There you go. So that's a breakdown of the 2 lines. Now, sometimes it takes a bit of practice to write these in a way that feels natural. Okay, so practice that. Okay, just every now and again get a bit of paper out and just practice writing things down. Okay, start now, get perfect later. That's the best way. There is nothing that you can't go wrong with this anyway. I hope that's helped, and I'll see you in the next video.